Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Big Time Sports. My name's Joe Dunn, and hopefully you'll stay with us for the next 25 minutes, especially if you're a local baseball fan. We're going to talk Class A baseball today. Ross Vukovic is here. We could do about a 3-hour show, what we're going to talk about today. We're going to try and condense it into about a half hour, but Ross, welcome to the program. We were talking before the show. We know a lot of the same people, but one thing we do have is a love of baseball. I know this is a great time of year for you.
Oh, it's a terrific time of year. I mean, the weather finally warmed up for us, and we've been getting a lot of baseball played, Joe, and it was so exciting for me to get to spend time with you talking baseball, because we've, a lot's happened since, like we were talking over the years. And
exactly.
We can go way back to when we played, and then now we're getting the A-League going again, and it's been really terrific stuff.
Exactly. If you haven't heard, though, Big Time Sports is going to cover Class A baseball playoffs and the championship game. The first game we're going to do will be Tuesday, July 29th. We'll be out at Thurman Munson Stadium. Mike Galena, who played in the Class A League, will join me. We'll do the play-by-play in color, and then the championship game, the 2025 Class A Baseball Championship game on August the 6th at Thurman Munson Stadium. Charlie Jones will be there to give you the play-by-play, so we're looking forward to bringing Big Time Sports in to Class A Baseball. I know you're looking forward to those two televised games.
The whole league and the board, everyone is very excited to have you guys say that you'll do this, because it's a real honor for us to be able to do this with you guys. Yeah, and Big Time Sports has always been a big part of what we do, right? And we as we grow up and we watch the high school games, and we do, so we were really excited when we got the call from Charlie.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the Class A Baseball League, because it's just coming back. I think it's the third year it's back after being kind of stopped back in 2000. Now we're going to talk about that, some of the great players that played in the Class A League, talk about the current league, so don't go away. We're back with more Class A Baseball right after this on Big Time Sports.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Sometimes life is just not okay. But guess what? That's okay.
And the pain you feel today won't always be the pain you feel tomorrow.
And no temporary situation is worthy of a permanent decision.
And if we give life a chance, we can change. We can grow.
Because it's not the absences of hard times that makes life worth living.
It's the presence of hope.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. If you just joined us, we were talking Class A baseball, Canton style, and Ross Vukovic is here. And if you're a baseball fan, a guy or a young lady that followed baseball, you remember how great the Class A League was for many, many years. Great media coverage, great players. We can go in and talk about some of the great players, but Ross, let's talk about bringing back the Class A League, because you played in the Class A League when it was one of the best leagues in the entire country. Talk about wanting to bring that back.
Well, we did, Joe, and back in the day we had John Mazzarelli, had Monty Bonds, you had guys that had played professional baseball. They came back and played in the A-League. No one went to play travel ball, right? Yeah. They went and played. They played in Canton because it was the best league around.
Sure.
And so in 08, we ended up you know, the teams had dwindled, and as travel ball started picking up and people started going and kids started going in other places to play, there just wasn't enough players.
Yeah.
So
at the height of the league, how many teams were there, and how good was the competition? Talk about some of the great rivalries within that league.
Well, I started out playing for Tom Edwards Ford in Louisville, and there was 13 teams in the league. And we were at the bottom three-ish, you know, but we had a bunch of college guys on our team, and it was just the old guys, Dale Herbert, Joe Gilhausen. Those guys were fantastic, and so it was really a terrific experience getting to play against all those guys all along the way.
Was it pretty, I don't want to use the word hostile, but was the competition pretty fierce? Because you guys were very competitive and very talented. You wanted to, most of you guys had won before, you wanted to win again.
I would say competitive was a nice way to put it.
Okay.
You know, because Don Buttrey and Mike Maley and all those guys, I mean, we went at it and we were bringing it, and there were times down at Cook Park that it got a little wild.
I bet.
Right? We had our share of let's say back and forth and what have you along the way, because everybody wanted to win, and it was always about trying to get the best players. So back in the day, it was Dr. Pepper, and then that became Buttrey Maley, you know, and then Suarez came in, and that's who I ended up playing for, and we would go at it. Pete Selvin, it was Pete Selvin, Suarez, and Dr. Buttrey Maley that were just, I mean. It was crazy. One year we won the NABF in 1994, first team from Canton ever to win a national tournament, which was a big deal.
Sure.
That year we finished third in the league.
That's how good it was.
Yeah, and that's how good it was. And that year there was probably 8 or 9 teams in the league. Yeah.
You mentioned recruiting. Now, did the teams back in the old days stay the same, or did you recruit players off other teams trying to get the best combination of players?
Well, that was always an interesting dynamic, right? Because you had pass waivers and through a lot of different things needed to happen, but it was always the best teams always got better because maybe they had better funding, or they had a buddy of theirs that pitched at Kent State that could come down and throw a couple of games, and that guy might get gas money or a ball glove or some things like that. So it was extremely competitive. It was extremely competitive.
Where were the games played at? Where were some of the best fields in Canton at the time where you played your games? Did you play during the week or just weekends?
We played 3 to 4 games a week. A lot of times we played at Cook Park. That was the main field, right? And you know, remember Cook? I don't know if you ever played at Cook, but we used to call it Astro gravel. As hard as your driveway, but it had gravel on it, right? So we did a lot of that. We played at Freddie Boers. We played at Don Scott. Was a decent field with no fence, so you had to hit one really far for that one. But you know, we played with Jerome Pruitt, and some of these guys could just absolutely kill the ball, dude. It was fun to play.
Yeah, we talked about some of the great names, and I had mentioned to Ross about being up at the University of Akron with Mike Birkbeck and his coach Dave Frost. Those are guys coming out of this area that were key guys in the Class A league.
Absolutely key guys. I played with Dave Frost. We played for Suarez together when he was still coaching at Akron. He played in the summers, and that dude could hit like nobody.
That's what I heard.
Unbelievable, right? You know, and when playing against him, I would play so deep in right field at second. You know, as a second baseman, I played in the right field because Dave couldn't run by then, but he could hit the ball. Yeah, we had a terrific time playing with those guys. And Birkbeck, before Mike left, like he was still coming out of high school and he playing at Akron U.
Yeah.
That's when I played with them. I got picked up for a tournament with those guys, with Dave Wrigley and Mike Burke.
Dave Wrigley,
you remember Dave Wrigley, right? Yeah, Akron U guy. He was a buddy of mine from North Canton. We played together at Hoover.
Exactly.
So,
one of the things that made the Class A league so impressive, and I was up in Akron, and looking back down here at Stark County, kind of envious of what you guys had down here. You had great media coverage. We mentioned the repository and Jaime Williams. You guys were like celebrities during the summer with the coverage you got.
It was so cool, and we kind of knew we got to know how it worked. Like Jeff Height knew how it worked, right? He's like, you got to get 2 hits to get your name in the paper, right? And so, but we would, and my dad, I worked on the back of the garbage truck. I can tell you, we used to sit, he would listen to Jaime in the morning, and he's like, okay, you listen to the news, and hey, Jaime's on. Come in, because you had a couple of hits last night. See if you made the radio announcement. We had terrific coverage, and I mean, it would be the Indians on one side of the page and the Class A league on the other, and we had batting averages, box scores, standings. It was really great, and we're trying to bring that back. We really are.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned the great level of competition and winning the national championship in 1994. Tell us about that group and kind of the prestige of teams looking in from all over the country to Canton and Stark County saying, hey, you guys got something special here.
Well, in 1994, we were a bunch of misfits. Like I said, we ended up We ended up winning we finished third in the league, got beat in the playoffs, ended up going to Louisville, Kentucky, and win that. And but the following year, because we won that, we picked up a guy named Roger Begg. You remember Roger Begg?
Sure.
Right. Roger had come out of the Royals organization, and he was always the best pitcher anywhere he ever went. So all of a sudden, he wanted to play with us because we were good. And that's how it kind of propelled us into when we won the WABC in 1998. That's the oldest amateur baseball tournament in the country.
Yeah.
And
that was usually up in Michigan, wasn't it?
It was in not Kalamazoo, but where Kellogg's, Battle Creek, Michigan. Excellent, Joe. And I had to provide my wife. She, you know, like when I say this, but she got so excited. I had the game winner in the last inning, and with a double off the wall. It was a great story about Mazzarelli there giving me heck about who sits on a changeup, John would say. Like, well, I knew that guy. The catcher was real young, and the pitcher was a AAA guy the year before. I end up like, I know that they shake twice. I'm getting a changeup because he struck me out the time before, and it was awful. Well, I hit it off the fence. We win the game. Wife got all excited. It was a great story. Yeah,
how disappointed were you in the guys you played with when the league went away in 2009, because you had so many great memories?
Well, it really hurt because, you know, what happened was I quit playing to coach my kids, and then I came back. But all those guys in Brett Lilly, and the league was still good, but there wasn't enough players. So when the Stallions that had evolved from Suarez decided that they couldn't have a team all summer anymore, then we were down to 3 teams or 2 teams. So it just couldn't exist anymore. But my son was playing by then, so that's how I wound up playing in the final game of the actual A-League. I scored the last run in the Class A League in 2009 or 2008, whatever it was, and because I wound up in the game in the 14th inning, and yeah, it was funny. So that was when it was time to resurrect it. I'm like, okay.
I hate to put you on the spot, Ross, but taking a look at the caliber of players when you played to the caliber of players now, there's been a lot of guys have signed professional contracts in Stark County the last few years. A few have made to the major leagues. What about the level of competition? Because you guys coming up, you played at a pretty high level.
We did, and I think the biggest difference is, and where we started at is, you know, the college kids don't have a place to play unless they go traveling. Well, that's what this league is about. It's about I bet you more than half of the guys play in college currently, right? So the level is excellent level. Back then, guys didn't stop playing after they got out of college or after they stopped playing, or they played professionally. They came back to Canton to play. So I don't know that you could say that it's better. It was better then. You know, we're going to say that, right? But in the end, it's really good. It's the third real year of the league, and it's excellent. Because you got all college kids coming out, and guys saying, "Hey, I think I can still do that." It's like, okay, well, let's find out, right? And so they're getting really competitive too. Started out was just a place to play. Now all of a sudden, everybody wants to win, and yeah, it's very exciting.
With all the great media coverage the Class A League had at the time, there was no minor league baseball in Akron. There was no minor league baseball in Stark County. What was the attendance like? Did you guys have pretty good crowds coming to the games?
Yeah, we back in the day we did. Like, that was the thing, and that's how we got all the media coverage. And it's starting to get back there, right? Because people are hearing it. There's still a lot of folks that don't know about the Canton Class A League yet.
Right.
So that's why we're excited to try to drive that. And we've got some really good guys on the board. John Oljancic, Nick Lucius. Nick works for the city, and he does all the stuff at the stadium and the umpires and all those things. And Ray Deckman's our new commissioner now, and like Randy McGill of Diamond Dreams. I don't know if you know him, but he's done a fantastic job. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of teamwork to get this off the ground, and that's John Feather and those guys have done a great job of helping us fund it.
Well, Ross, stay put. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the formation of the new Class A League a few years ago, how it all came about, and the current status of the league, teams, players, and talk more about the playoffs and big-time sports coverage right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Altman is here for you. in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports as we continue our conversation with Ross Vukovic and Class A baseball here in the Canton area, Stark County, and the current league. Ross, tell us about the teams, tell us about the sponsors, and a little bit about the future as you see it.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Joe. Like we wanted to get the thing back together again because there needed to be a local source for kids to play baseball. And
Sure.
John L. Jancic called me one day, and when we just started talking about the league, and said, my son plays in Tennessee in college, and I want to try to find a place for him to play when he comes home. I said, great, you're going to be a coach. So you're gonna coach your son. So that's how we formed Voot Grips. So my son's company is a baseball bat, or a grip company and batting gloves and all that stuff. So that was one of the first teams. And Pete's Oven helped us, along. And Hilscher Clark, John Feather at Hilscher Clark became a sponsor. He's been doing a fantastic job of that. And a couple of other local hitting facilities. Randy McGill at Diamond Dreams. He put 2 teams in last year.
Okay.
A kid that I played with from Jackson. I don't know if you remember, Jake Summers played at
remember the name? Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Summers played at Akron U, and so his brother has a place. So Summers Sports they won the league last year.
Okay.
So it's very competitive. And Ziegler Tire is one of our new sponsors this year too. So we're really getting in jerseys. I should fail to mention Chris because he's just done so much for Stark County baseball, and he wouldn't even say that, but yeah, it's been magical the way we've got.
Now the league is for players 18 and older because you have different age groups that will take over once maybe the competition goes down a little bit. They want to move up, but it's for 18 and under, right? Well, 18 and over.
18 and over is by designation, but really it's unlimited. So we have some kids, we have some high school kids that haven't gone to college. They're like, hey, I'm going to Malone, or I'm going to Walsh, or I'm going someplace else. I want to play this summer without traveling, because we set the league up. We play the games Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and occasional Thursday. So that if you want to still travel, you can. If you want to work, you can. The games start at 6:15. So like the old days, right? You worked all day and then went to play ball. So that's kind of the same thing that we're trying to get after there. And the sponsors were critical, organizing all the fields. We play at North Canton, Louisville, and Munson primarily. Oh, and a ton of games at Mount too. All the games are on turf, which is crazy, right? From back in the day.
That's
the Astro
amazing,
gravel at Cook Park, right? Exactly.
Is it a metal bat, wood bat, or players have their choice?
No, all wood bats. All wood bats. All those leagues have gone to straight wood, and it's terrific because they, between the turf and the wood bats, it brings things closer together than back in the day. Like back when I could hit a home run, I needed to use one of those hopped up aluminum bats. But
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that transition from wood to metal, you were probably right in the middle of that as far as when it happened in baseball.
Well, I started out using wood bats.
Right.
We all did, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have aluminum bats, and we were the poor kids from Greentown, so we didn't have aluminum bats, and everybody else did. But once we got to high school, and then the bats just kept getting better and better and better, and scarier and scarier. I mean, they did the right thing, because some of these guys, the harder you throw and the harder these guys hitting the ball, it was, frightening playing against those Eastons back in, the late 2000s. And it was crazy.
Exactly. Tell us about the hat, because I know your son's involved with this. Tell us about this sponsorship and what they can do for other teams around the area.
So what we've been trying to do, so Voot Grips is a bat grip baseball, softball, bats, batting gloves, that kind of stuff, and it's just there's great science there, and so we've been getting the word out. You know, it's my son's company. I don't really have anything to do with it other than
that's based in North Canton.
Based in North Canton, runs it out of my house, that kind of stuff, and just hustles. You know, you always just want your kid to grow up and hustle, and he does a really good job of that. So it's good because I've been around and kind of everybody, you know, recognizes his name, and a lot of the kids recognize Voot Grips because of they use the product and all that stuff. So that's why we said let's sponsor a team in there. But he's done a good job of doing that, and so thank you for asking.
Sure, I'll tell you what, you were kind enough to bring me a hat, which I will wear and publicize Voot Grips wherever I go, all over Stark County. But how many teams in the league did you say? There's 4 teams right now?
There's 6 now.
Six
we
right
had
now.
7 last year, and we thought we'd get to 8 this year, but we decided to try to keep. We wanted to have enough kids. You know, sometimes vacations and things like that. You know, like we always used to tape. You know, Ernie Banks used to say, "Hey, it's a great day. What do you say?
Let's play 2
Let's
today.
play 2." What do you think Ernie's wife said to that? Right? Ernie, you haven't been home to cut the grass, man. Like, come on. So we tried to organize it where kids could still work and do their stuff, and the baseball wasn't getting in the road.
It was amazing you had mentioned Ernie Banks, because we just mentioned Dave Frost a few minutes ago, who I worked with at the University of Akron, whose favorite player was Ernie Banks. He wore number 14.
He sure did.
I'm sure he wore that in Edmonton.
He sure did. He sure did. Even when I know he wore it at Akron. He wore it when he played with us in Suarez. And yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, how many teams will you see down? How many teams will we have maybe in 5-10 years if this continues to grow?
Well, I see it getting to 10 or 12 really quick, you know, because there's a lot of teams that we didn't have this age bracket. We didn't have anything, and we started at 25 and over. And so the Tuscarawas County had a league. COVID kind of killed that. And then Akron has had a league, and it sort of survived through. And so the Akron AA League, it's Roy Hobbs really. The Roy Hobbs League, right, I think they got 12 or 13 teams in it.
Yes.
But a lot of those, you know, we didn't have this option. So those guys are like, wait, we can play in Canton? Yes. And the fields are really terrific here. Like we have a really supreme advantage there. I'm
glad you mentioned that, because we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the improvements at Thurman Munson Stadium. Class A playoffs and championship game will be there. We'll talk about the coverage for big time sports. So don't go away. We're back with more baseball talk right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
This moment, it's a choice. To find out what you're made of. To own what's in front of you, no matter what that might be. We showed up, we're here. This moment belongs to us right now.
It's always that personal touch that they know you.
Primetime has people that can help you through every step of the way, and when you're my age, you need that extra help.
You don't want a lot of questioning when you're already dealing with a medical issue. Primetime is trying to help us get down the road as long as we can.
And if you're not in the right situation, a senior can lose everything. I feel with Primetime we picked the best program.
Rabbit Landscaping is Northeast Ohio's premier residential and commercial landscaping establishment in Jackson Township. They provide an ample amount of services, including landscape design, hardscapes, deck and fence installations, outdoor lighting, lawn maintenance, leaf removal, and snow removal. Rabbit Landscaping aims to provide a quality, trustworthy landscaping service to your area. Call for a free quote at 330-936-7616.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports Special Edition. We're right in the middle of the summer. High school football practice doesn't start for a couple more weeks, so we've got a lot of baseball yet to watch and play, and Big Time Sports is proud to be part of the Class A baseball playoffs. We're going to be out at Thurman Munson Stadium on Tuesday, July 29th. I'll be there with Mike Galena to bring you the play-by-play in color of playoff baseball. Then on Wednesday, August the 6th, Charlie Jones will take over. He'll bring you the play-by-play of the championship game, 2025 Class A baseball championship game right here on Big Time Sports. Again, Ross, I know you're excited about kind of showcasing what you've got going this year.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, we're looking forward to the playoffs. Were fantastic last year. We had a ninth inning, game, championship game last year that the game was decided late. So the teams have been very competitive. We're looking forward to having you guys and putting on a good show.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I can't talk enough about what has happened at Thurman Munson Stadium the last few years as far as improvement, Ross. That's an amazing facility right now. It's incredible. And it used to be, that when the Indians moved out, things happened, but they, you have two turf fields with lights, and they've done a terrific job of taking care of the facilities there. Everything is first class. They're running a lot of tournaments through there, for young kids and sharing it with the older leagues, the 25s and 35, 45, 55, 65 kind of leagues. But it's a grade A facility now. It is. It's and really we're gonna do. The project is to try to get dugouts for the B field, for the field 2. That's the next project. Yeah, that's the next project because there's already lights and turf there, and yeah, it's yeah. If you haven't been to Munson in a long time, right. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. Yeah. You really won't. It's amazing. Yes. Talk about the playoff format. You said you had what, 6 or 7 teams in the league this year. How's that going to work, and who we look forward to seeing on TV coming up in a couple of weeks? So it's good. It's a good question because there's 6 teams. They're going at it right now. There's not one clear favorite in the league right now. Everybody has 3 or 4 losses. We had a couple teams, and I have teams on the other end, but the games have been even the Ziegler's been very competitive every game. I was like, they're surprised. They could have won 5 games, right? And so it's very exciting. So what happens is you're going to seed, and then you're going to play a double elimination playoff into the culminating right before the Hall of Fame game is what the goal is, to get it done before the festivities start. But yeah, that August the 6th is a good date, and then Wednesday would be the rain date, and then the football game is on Thursday, and then we're done. We talked in the first segment about your 1994 team won on the national championship. Is your league right now involved or in a organization that sponsors national and Midwest tournaments? Man, I'm so glad you asked, Joe, because we literally just signed the deal. We're going to put our team or a team from our league in the NABF tournament because it's going to be played at Munson this year. Because of facility upgrades, they're going to move that tournament, and it moves around anyways. But we have a premier facility. Did you have to bid on that, or they came to us. If you remember Greg Turbovich, he was another. He runs the Stark County Terriers. So Greg came to me. He's like, hey, this is all college level, 22 and under, like bringing it. NABF tournament, and so we want you guys to have a team in it. So I said, yeah, we'll put our team in. I think the Terriers will be in because they play, college level kids play and travel all around, and it'll be all that kind of competition. It's going to be fantastic, and that takes place the weekend before. So in between when your 2 telecasts. So we want to kind of schedule things around that so that everybody could still be competitive. I'll tell you, that's great news because that'll bring more people into Stark County, more hotel rooms, more people eating at a restaurant. So congratulations, that's a major coup, I think, and hopefully it'll be back a few more times during the next few years. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. When you do it right, and the fields are going to be, they could never get a nicer facility than what they're going to have this year. And we'll do it right. Like, Canton, we used to do this all the time. Remember back in the day, right? Sure. And so people loved coming to Canton for all the right reasons, and we're going to do it again. So we're looking forward to this season. Ross, we could go on talking baseball for the next hour or 2 because both of our love of baseball. To even talk about the Guardians a little bit. They've won 2 in a row right now, but we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But great having you. Look forward to bringing you the game on the 29th and the championship game on the 6th. For Ross Vukovic, I'm Joe Dunn. See you back here in a few weeks with more Big Time Sports.